Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to
Anyone who wants to excel in journalism, what must the person do?
You know, sometimes people say, why do you always say passion? But as an editor, if I was interviewing you, I really didn't look at I looked at competence, but the first thing I tried to see was whether there was that fire in your eyes, whether there was that desire to tell a story, whether you were anxious to go out there and make a difference. And if I didn't see it, it didn't matter how eloquent you were, it didn't matter how well you wrote, it was clear to me that you were not a news hound. Because a news hound smells blood. You smell news like you're smelling blood. And you would see the passion, you would see the fire. When the person just sits in front of you and you ask the first question, you can tell that this person is headed to the top. So really the first thing you need in journalism is that passion, that desire to be able to make a difference. Any journalist who is not desirous to make a difference will be in the career, but those are the people that truly make a mess of our profession. Those are the people that, you know, that will sell us out for a mess of pottage. But the journalist who wants to make a difference, when they sit in front of you, you know.
Can you remember the first story ever that you wrote?
The first story professionally, my first story was in 1989. I can't remember what it was, you know.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Right. Okay.
I was in the Daily Times then. Because I started in the Daily Times, Boys magazine. We're starting a women's magazine. They were starting a women's magazine at the Daily Times. I remember when I came and said to Onyema Ugochukwu, I wanted to work at the Daily Times, you know, to serve. He said to me, you want to serve? I said, yes. So he said to me, okay. So I came in, then the editorial board was made up of Sonala Olumense, Idan Alibi, Femi Ajayi, Lizzie came, you know. So they sat around me, Chidamuta, yes. So they sat around and then Sonala said, so before I knew it, I was being interviewed. What do you think you bring to the table for a new women's magazine? And I started, you know. Anyway, I finished and then Sonala said, we think you have the job. So that's how I started, you know, with Boys magazine in the Daily Times.
Yes. Can you remember the first interview that you conducted?
Oh, the first interview. So with a group, I had conducted an interview with Otumba. No, not Otumba. Gosh, what's the name now? The Eleganza name, but the other person who was not Eleganza. Thank you. So it was, and for that interview was myself and this editor. Oh my God, I'm getting old, you know. Myself and this editor. He was then editor of the. He was an editor in Daily Times, and we conducted that interview. So the first interview was with Yes.
Now, I need you to tell me the most memorable story that you have written.
I don't even know which one to start with because there's so many. Oh dear. Let me tell the story when I was in Quality Magazine. Because there are several, but this one was an interesting one. And we wanted to do a story on the YWCA. We had heard that the YWCA in Lagos was filled with, you know, people were coming there and they were pimping the girls, you know. So I was asked to disguise and go into the YWCA so I went. And I went to the YWCA to spend the weekend. You know, I got a room and all of that, and you know, to be a participant observer. And the son, I don't need, but there was a very privileged and important person that came at night to take girls out. And the matron of this thing came, and if I went through the evening, participated, I got my story. And by Sunday, I said, oh, I'm feeling very ill. I have malaria and all that. And of course, I checked in with a totally different name. So I used my middle name and my father's first name and checked into the place as Mary Gabriel. So I then finished and all that. I said I wasn't feeling well. And they said, okay, so I needed to go to my uncle's house. And that was how I left the YWCA and went back home. And then magazine comes out on Tuesday. So the magazine came out. Once the magazine came out, the board of YWCA came to Quality to look for Ibim Toby, who wrote the story. So fortunately, I was going down the stairs when they came in. Of course, they didn't know me because they were not there. It was the matron who saw me. So when they came in, they said they're looking for Ibim Toby. I said, oh, you're looking for Ibim Toby? They said, yes. I said, okay, please come with me. So I took them to editor Baladan Abu, and I said, editor, these people are from the YWCA. They are looking for Ibim Toby, and I said I should bring them to you. He said, oh, okay, where were you going? I said, I was going for, okay, quickly, go for lunch, I'll meet you there. So that was how I ran out. Went away. So Baladan Abu met with them. They said they were looking for Ibim Toby and all that. Anyway, to cut a long story short, but we did the story, we broke the story, and the matron was dismissed. There was a bit of reorganization, that was that story. I remember that story because it was my first investigative.
What year was that?
This was in 1990. 1990.
Okay. I need you to tell me your most memorable interview and why.
I don't even know which of the interviews, but okay, there was an interview I had with the founder of the Celestial Church of Christ, with Bada, and he was alive. And I went with my recorder, and you know how difficult it was to get that interview. Finally, I got the interview. I go and I spend 3 hours, finished with 90 minutes tape, used another 90 minutes tape. As I came back and my tape was blank.
Yay!
For our Q interview. Now, in those days, quality interview was 9 pages.
Wow.
9 pages of the Q interview. 3 hours. I came back, my tape was blank. I said, God, where will I start from? Where will I go back to Bada for an interview? Where do I think my editor tape is blank? Projects. It was crazy. But God saved me. I had been making some notes. And at that time, my brain was still a bit sharp, not this old brain with no sharp again. So I went down. I started recollecting and using my notes. If I didn't take those notes, I would be dead. I was able to finish. I couldn't get 9 pages because there were some things that were missing. So I managed to get 7 pages. And it was cover interview. I was lucky that the man did not take us to court for anything. If he did, and I needed to take my tape, my dear, after that, I don't go for interviews with less than 3 tapes. And that time we used to use, I would go with 3 tapes. I would go with the small midgets, the big tape, and a second tape. And I will write